So there is some devastating news that broke today from Bachelor Nation. Another couple has called it quits, except this couple was actually married. And let's talk about it. So I was having a good day today. I'm on TikTok. You know, my feed is giving what it's supposed to give. And I come across a post about a divorce filing from one of Bachelor Nation's, one of my favorite couples, if not they're actually my favorite couple in Bachelor Nation. And I truly couldn't believe it. I was like, who is spreading this false information? And then I looked at the source and it came from E! News. So I knew, oh shit, it's serious. So it turns out that literally today, Tuesday, January 2nd, 2024, okay, right in the new year, Bryan Abasolo filed for divorce from Lindsay. Now, obviously, there were a few things that, raised some eyebrows because I was like, very interesting that he's the one who filed. And not only was he the one to file, but he's also asking for spousal support. So when I first saw that he filed, I was like, what? And then I saw the whole spousal support thing and I was like, oh, you lost me there. Like, now you're coming for her coins. Like, that's not leaving a good taste in my mouth. We as the public, we don't know much. We have no idea what has happened in their marriage. But it's interesting because he listed the date of separation as December 31st, right? Okay. And Rachel had done an interview in November. I forgot what interview it was. And she was open and spoke about how they were actually trying to start a family, and it was proving to be a lot more difficult than she initially thought. So, this is November, and she went on the Nick Viles podcast, and she talked about their relationship. She talked about how she keeps their relationship from social media. So a lot of the time people speculate whether they're together or not, and that no one really knows when they're good and when they're bad because they just don't put their business out there. So I don't know what to think about this whole situation. In this house, we stan Lindsay. I love Rachel. She's literally the best bachelorette, in my opinion, that the franchise has had. And I really loved her and Bryan together. And I remember there are a lot of people, just like I made that video about Caitlyn yesterday, and I was just saying how people really hate on her. There's so many people who hate on Rachel for, I don't know what reasons. I truly don't know what reasons, because I don't understand how you could not like her. Like, she's just everything. So she already gets a lot of hate, and I can only imagine how the situation is going to contribute to that hate. And I already imagine people, I've seen the comments already, right? And people are just being really cruel and mean. But there have been some things that have come out. Well, like Bryan put out a statement. Let's go ahead and read that. So he posted this on his actual timeline, Instagram timeline, and then he reposted it as a story. So it says, if you've been following me for a while, you know I don't like to put my personal affairs on social media and like to keep a safe space for our family. Many of you know me as a chiropractor and also as a husband, my proudest role so far. After more than 4 years of marriage, Rachel and I have made the difficult decision to part ways and start anew. My parents have been married forever and I'm a family man, but sometimes loving yourself and your partner means you must let go. I wanted you to hear it from the source before the blogs start making up their own reality. Please respect the spaces of our family and friends as we figure out our next steps. Respectfully, Bryan. And he shut off the comments on that post. Now, Rachel actually hasn't posted anything like today, but she did post 2 days ago a little reel, right? So a whole bunch of videos. And the caption says, definitely one of the hardest years of my life, but choosing to focus on grateful moments and carrying that energy into 2024. She shut off the comments on that post, but since it's a reel full of videos and photos, there are photos of her and Bryan on there, and they're right at the beginning too. So I don't know. It's just, everyone can wonder, and I'm sure people are going to start saying a whole bunch of stuff and making up their own reality of what happened, but truly, we're not going to know if they don't actually themselves say what happened, we're really not going to know. If I had to speculate, which I think a lot of people are doing that right now, but I think we should really stick to the facts. We really don't know. But if I had to just take a guess, it would probably have something to do with the fact that they are both so career focused. I think they were, so on the Nick Viles podcast, she said that she had moved into the same neighborhood as Nick. So she had bought a house in that neighborhood. Now, I know he's a chiropractor. I'm not quite sure. I think did he move his business to LA? I'm not sure. But I think maybe it had something to do with their careers. I also saw a lot of comments coming for Rachel saying, oh, it's no surprise because she chose her career over her man. Why does she need to, why are people already I don't understand why a woman can't be a successful woman and have a career and love her career and put her career above a lot of things. He was also putting his career above a lot of things as well. So I don't think there's a fault to that. I do think that if that's the reason for the separation, again, we don't know, right? That is something that they would both have to compromise on. So again, we don't know. That's just something that I think might have happened, but it could be totally wrong. The fact that he listed the separation date as December 31st is odd because it's on the new year. It's such a terrible time. We're bringing in the new year. It's supposed to be kind of a happy time, a time to celebrate. So that really sucks that things, were not looking good. So I guess we're really not going to know until she comes out and talks about it. But I don't like the fact that he is now demanding spousal support. I don't like that at all. He has a career. He's a successful chiropractor from what I understand. Why do you need to come after her coins? I don't like that at all. I'd be so curious to know what Rachel even thinks about that. Spousal support, that's insane. That's insane. Left a bad taste in my mouth. Again, I don't want to judge, but the fact that he filed and the fact that he asked for spousal support is oh, I don't know. It seems like she hasn't put out a statement. I don't know. It does seem kind of one-sided. It was him because he's the one that filed. He's the one that came out with the statement. It's not like he said in that statement, respectfully, Bryan and Rachel, right? It wasn't a statement from both of them. It was just from him. So it does seem a little I don't know. We saw who recently got Jeezy and Jeannie Mai. He's the one that filed in that situation as well. That was a little weird. It's always a little different, I feel when the guy files. We also saw that in Chrishell and Justin Hartley. Chrishell from Selling Sunset. I don't know if anyone watches that. Love that show. She found out with the rest of the world. I hope that wasn't the case for Rachel. But in those situations, when it's been the man that files, from what I've seen, it's they're the ones that want to get out of the relationship ASAP. So I don't know. It just sucks because they've been together for over 4 years. They were finally, I think, seems like trying to start a family. So that really sucks. And I feel so bummed for Rachel because I was rooting for this relationship. And a lot of people came down hard on their relationship when they first got together, when she picked him on her season of The Bachelorette, the best season, because of Peter. Everyone, America fell in love with Peter. They wanted her to pick Peter, and they put this whole emphasis on the fact that Peter didn't want to get engaged, and she wanted a ring so bad, so she settled for Bryan. That was a lot of the talk. But Rachel has came out in a few interviews now and has mentioned how they edited the season to make it look like she had more of a connection with Peter than she did with Bryan. So she's said that they intentionally left out those special moments with Bryan where we could see the connection growing and all of that because they chose to focus everything around Peter. So we know how TV works, right? And especially if Peter was already a favorite, they were obviously going to try and kind of go that direction. And so I think I was Team Peter as well. So when she picked Bryan, I was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, why'd you pick him? And then when she came out in interviews and started talking about it and telling her truth and talking about the edits and all of that, I was like, wow, that must have been really hard for both of them, for Bryan and for Rachel, because they never really got a chance for everyone to see their true love story, because it was always like, there was always like this shadow with Peter, basically. So I think she got a lot of unnecessary hate for that because everyone loved him. Um, but again, it's just people behind their keyboards talking a whole bunch of nonsense. So I guess as far as 9:43 p.m. Pacific time, January 2nd, Rachel has not come out and said much. And this one was a bummer. Okay. It kind of ruined my evening. I was like, what just happened? Like, I was not expecting that at all. I was not expecting them. Like, I was truly surprised. I was reading comments and a lot of people were like, I'm not surprised, blah, blah, because they hate Rachel. And I saw a few comments like, I'm shook, and I'm like, exactly, because I did not see this coming. And I love that they kept their relationship private, because I think that that's something very sacred, and the more you put it out there, the more you're just putting it out to receive more, like, you know, negative comments and just a bunch of rumors. I'm shocked and I'm sad, and I hope she speaks out. I hope Rachel, and I knowing Rachel, I feel like she will eventually when she's ready. She's probably not right now. I mean, literally just filed today. But I really hope that she knew about it. I really hope that it wasn't just him in the heat of the moment, just being like, you know, I'm just going to file and it is what it is. But yeah, I think everyone should really, if anyone is watching this and they're not a Rachel fan, I can't make you be a fan, you know? But I think in times like these, like I truly try to put myself in people's shoes a lot of the time, even when they make decisions that I don't necessarily agree with. And I can't imagine going through something like that right now, especially the start of the year. It's supposed to be like a fun, like a new, I mean, this is a fresh start, right? Technically, it's a fresh start. I don't know. It seemed to me from what Rachel was spitting out recently in interviews that they were doing good. And it turns out they weren't. So I don't know. We won't know much. We can speculate. We can say all these things and think all these things and come up with a million reasons why they divorced, but we really won't know unless one of them comes out and says it. So I think people need to chill and leave her alone, you know, leave him alone. I just, my heart goes out to Rachel, and I hope she's doing okay. I hope Bryan's doing okay too. I don't know much. We don't know much. So that is my take on this terrible news today, coming into the new year. You know, we saw all the drama unfold with Caitlyn. Just, was it yesterday? And honestly, I'm pretty sure Caitlyn probably feels like a tiny, tiny sense of relief. Like, oh my God, okay, this is kind of like washing away my situation. And now all eyes are in this new Bachelor Nation news. So, yeah, I think we just have to remember to be kind, and that's all. You know, let's go into the new year trying to be a better, more positive person. I'll try to come back on if anything else comes out and talk about that. But as far as it stands, we don't know much. And that's pretty much it for today. Bye.